here, we'll go straight into headlines. And we're going to talk about SMU and how they're absolutely heating up in Texas on the recruiting trail, dominating in their own backyard. They picked up 3 commitments out of the DFW area, I guess I should say, here in the past couple of weeks. And man, they are just absolutely on fire. They landed a commitment from Kaufman wide receiver Aljor Miles. We have him ranked as the 10th best wide receiver in Texas. Duncanville cornerback Braylon Edwards, that's literally in their own backyard. We've got him ranked as the 2nd best corner in the state of Texas. And of course, Euless Trinity interior offensive lineman Toa Katoa, and he is ranked as the 6th best interior offensive lineman in the state of Texas. All in the top 10 in their respective position groups. SMU absolutely dominating in the state of Texas.
If you're not paying attention to what SMU is doing in recruiting, not only in the state but nationally, you need to change that quickly because they are recruiting at a different level. I would say last year's class was probably the best class that they signed since the 1980s. And this year's class is going to be significantly better than last year's class. They're already putting together and hitting on some of these top targets at every single position. These 3 guys that you just mentioned, right around 100 offers between those guys. So you're talking about the best of the best guys that SMU has been able to reel into this class. Aljor Miles is a big-bodied wide receiver who can stretch the field and knows how to use his hands to get a good catch radius and shield defenders from the ball.
And he had picked up an offer from Texas just a couple of days before announcing his commitment to SMU.
Had offers from Texas and Oklahoma and Texas A&M, so that kind of tells you what we're talking about here, what we're dealing with. And Braylon Edwards had over 40 offers, right?
Wild.
And this is a guy who's extremely versatile in the secondary. These secondary players are like key pieces to championship level teams. So don't overlook or sleep on the commitment of Braylon Edwards because he could really play anywhere within that secondary. I love him as a lockdown corner, but he could be a nickel back, and he's big enough and strong enough to also play safety. And don't forget about the big man, Toa. Toa Katoa is a beast up front. He is a pile mover, and SMU fans should be extremely excited about seeing him suit up because he's going to mash some dudes. He's going to mash dudes. And I know that there are some hardcore football fans that love seeing those guys bring their lunch pail to work every day. He's that type of kid, and I'm excited about his college potential.
Question for you. Why do you think they're recruiting so well as of right now? One, I think NIL. They have a huge budget when it comes to NIL and being in the DFW area. Obviously, a lot of donors contributing to that. And then, do you think it's because they made it to the college football playoff last year in their first year as being a Power 4 team?
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say is like if you're finishing...
Took the words right out of your mouth.
If you're finishing within the top 12 of all of the college football teams, that's going to put some shine on you. But what I want to go back a little bit because I thought SMU has done a tremendous job of selling Dallas. I think that's really important. Not only what NIL opportunity that you have while you're there, but what opportunity you may have after college, right? And it's a very business-centric area that SMU is located within, and they've done a good job of going to those businesses around them and bringing that as a part of the culture there to set you up for success after college ball. That's a message that they've been firm on, and it's been resonating with recruits, but more importantly with the families.
Right. Well, okay, last little tidbit for you on this SMU segment. I know we don't keep up much when it comes to national recruiting.
Yeah.
But did you see that they were able to flip Ja'Kai Anderson, he's out of Louisiana, from LSU to SMU. And then, like, the next day, SMU schedules a home-and-home with LSU.
Yeah, that is a power move.
Power move.
When you're flipping LSU recruits.
Yeah.
I mean, I even look back into last year's class at Ty Hawkins, right? That when they lost Keelan Russell, who ends up being the number 1 rated quarterback in the country, that's a huge blow. But it wasn't long before they added in Ty Hawkins to tell you that they are going to recruit this position at a high level.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's really important to look at it at the quarterback position. But now you're seeing it at other spots as they're able to go in and entice an LSU player to come to Dallas.
Another team that's hot on the Texas recruiting trail right now, it's none other than the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They land 2 in-state commitments, one from Forney running back, Javion Osborne, which we're big fans of here because
sure.
he's second ranked running back in the state of Texas.
He's in our top 10 overall. There's 4 running backs within the top 10.
Yeah.
But Javion Osborne plays second fiddle to no one. That's the way I would say it. It's just a great class of running backs here in the state.
Yeah, and then, of course, Bastrop, defensive tackle, Tiki Hola committed to Notre Dame over the weekend. And that one was maybe not a little bit of a shock, but I think there were a couple people thinking that he was, funny enough, leaning towards SMU.
Me being one of them, potentially. I thought that SMU was in a really good spot for Tiki Hola, but obviously Notre Dame is a national level school, played in the national championship game last year. I mean, that is a,
it's like much like SMU, like you've got that championship pedigree, playoff pedigree.
Well, Notre Dame's back, right? I don't know that they ever went anywhere, but Notre Dame's back on the national scene, and they're back in Texas recruiting pretty hard as well, because these are 2 guys who were in our initial DCTF Rising freshmen top 25, so they've been on the radar for a while and have collected a lot of attention from all the programs across the country. I think Javion had over 40 offers and Tiki had over 30 offers. So these are heavily pursued guys. It was just a fun battle to watch down the stretch as SMU and Notre Dame were trying to land Hola, and Notre Dame ended up winning that one out. And Osborne picked Notre Dame over Michigan. That's a big rivalry, right? Whenever you are able to beat your biggest rival for a recruit, especially one of Osborne's ilk, that's saying something, because Osborne's a dude. He's so fast in the middle of the field. Slippery, but powerful.
And, of course, Tiki choosing Notre Dame over USC, SMU. Those were also in his top 3, too.
Tackles.
So 102 tackles.
That's a productive
Talk about production.
Defensive lineman. Tiki Hola makes plays, and he's fun to watch. We rated him as a defensive tackle, but he's versatile up front. I think he could slide around and do some different things, play some different techniques, and he has to do that in Bastrop's 3-man front, and I think he'll do that well in college.
Another thing that I wanted to point out, I sent it to you over the weekend, but I know you're busy with graduations and stuff. Also, congratulations to your son. He graduated from OU this weekend. But I sent it to you. So, Waxahachie, 2026 wide receiver Cohen Brown. Did you see he decommitted from USC?
Yeah.
He got a Notre Dame offer just like 2 days before that.
Something to keep an eye on.
Something to keep an eye on. I think he picked up another offer today or something like that. But
they're all offering him. He's
right
really
now that
good.
they saw. But that was interesting to see that once Notre Dame offers.
Waxahachie plays an 11-6A, so people watching at home that don't know much about Texas high school football, there's been 3 state championship won out of that district out of the last 2 years in total. So, I mean, there's a lot of powerful teams within that district playing ball.
Yep. 2 teams hot on the Texas recruiting trail right now. Excited to keep up with all of that. And finally, let's round out our headline segment. Let's talk 6-man ball.
Okay.
6-man ball in recruiting? Swerve? How about that? Let's do it. And we're going to specifically talk about Gordon, the 2-time 1A Division I state champions. Of course, they won it last year and the year before. They have 2 players, Stryker Reed and Rye Reed. No relation. They're not related. They just have the same last name.
Yep.
Oddly enough, right? You recently named them as 3 stars, and that's the first time that you have ever named, I guess, given a star.
DCTF's rankings history.
Yeah, to a 6-man player, not just 1, but 2.
Yeah, definitely. Both are extremely versatile guys. They showed what they could do at the state track championships. So they're not only great football players, they can really run as well, and they're extremely athletic. And that's why you're starting to see their offer list expand. And I guess we should take time to tip our caps to some of the 6-man guys that have come before them here most recently that have helped pave the way to shine some extra spotlight on that level of ball. Grayson Rigdon was one of the true 6-man stars before he transferred to Columbus to play the 11-man game, and was really successful, I guess, proving and showing, look, these guys have a chance to be able to step up and play the 11-man game, which translates to college ball.
And now he's at Arizona State.
Right. And Kyler Fawcett, I feel like in last year's class, still a bit overlooked on the recruiting trail to me, but Kyler Fawcett had FBS level talents, and he was almost the first DCTF 3-star in 6-man. It was very close. So it was good to see Rye Reed and Stryker Reed get this honor this year. They're well deserved. UTSA, UTEP, multiple sports offers. Some of these guys have track and field offers as well. But there's another guy over there that could be third. Like there's somebody else to track, and that's Braden Walters. And I think that he's somebody that could be joining these guys and getting offered next. So maybe there'll be a third DCTF 3-star at some point. Well, I mean, guess we'll have to stay tuned.
Well, and one question. Did you have Grayson Rigdon in our rankings when he was at Gordon? Of course, I mean, he played at a couple of 6-man schools before he transferred, Benjamin and then Columbus.
No.
Did you, it was when he played at Columbus is when you added, okay.
Yeah, we were purposely waiting to decide on Grayson Rigdon because of the transfer. I think it was like 3 or 4 games into his senior season to see what that senior tape looked like. How did he play in comparison? And he was able to make the jump, right? Mm-hmm. And he made it look kind of seamless. Yeah. And
he made it look so easy. It was so funny.
But Texas high school football is great, right?
Yeah.
And this is a chance for us to celebrate how great it is in maybe some of the small communities that often get overlooked. I mean, you're not going to hear about 6-man ball a lot of times on some of the national services or maybe national networks and stuff. So this gives us a chance right here to showcase why Texas high school football is so special, because out in Gordon, there's 2 dudes you have to know about. Yeah. Right? You have to know about these guys. They're so fun.
Absolutely. And they're not going away.
Yeah, they're not going away because I think I would say that they're the odds-on favorite to capture another 6-man state title next year.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Exciting stuff happening in the Texas high school football recruiting world.